Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. It's going to be a bit different for you. I'm your host, Chad Hoku. I've got my co-host, Chris Tock of Tock Custom, as well as the magician, the world famous David Tock. So today we're going to actually be doing an AMA or an Ask Me Anything. Imagine a Q&A where if you got questions about the contest, you can. But really, it's more of a get to know us. I want to give you guys the opportunity to kind of see if there's any questions we can answer for you, as well as just give you guys insight into the crazy minds behind developing the ultimate cosplay contest. So stay tuned and make sure that at the end of the podcast, if you've got further questions, leave comments below. I'm going to remind you then as well. But without further ado, my co-host Tock Custom, how are you doing today, buddy?
I am terrific after a full honesty. I had a couple of severe, anxious, depressive, whatever days, and I'm feeling truly terrific today, and I'm really happy to be feeling this way while I'm on a podcast between two men that I adore more than anyone else. But because you see me every week, I want to hear the first words spoken from my brother's mouth on a live broadcast ever, and those words are going to be
very moist.
Oh no. I was so excited.
That was the first thing I think he said.
Thanks for the prep on that one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
David,
Oh my goodness.
would you care to introduce yourself to the community and to the public right now?
Not at all. Don't mind at all. Hi, I'm Dave, brother of Chris. Let me get my camera. Yeah.
No, I'm pointing. If I point at my mic, that means talking to your mic. That's what that means.
My name is Dave Tock. I'm Chris's brother. Slightly older, but negligible at this point. Yeah, just loving life. I'm in Wisconsin right now, where the whole Tock clan is from. Just enjoying, kind of new to the community, loving it. Been watching Chris, supporting him for years, and just want to help out and have some fun.
Cool. So this is Dave's first ever live broadcast or podcast ever.
I'm on TV.
Right. So treat this, pretend you had your own channel, your own TV show, like in the movie UHF.
Supplies.
If anyone knows that movie, that means you're as old as we are. But
we're sorry, we hurt too.
Yeah. But okay, so for anyone that doesn't know, we are the three owners of what is known as the brand new Ultimate Cosplay LLC, or the full name is the Ultimate Cosplay Championship LLC legally, but we refer to ourselves as just Ultimate Cosplay. It's technically we are the co-founders, but it is made up of our entire committee, which is all 25 of us.
Yeah.
Right now, we have 17 judges, brands, but our committee is 25 people right now. So we are a company owned, funded by, run by the cosplay community, the creative world, the prop makers, and our goal. Okay, do you want to talk about what some of our goals are?
I mean, I can talk about what my goals are,
as they relate to
which
cosplay.
I hope to accomplish with our ultimate cosplay. Guys, look, here's the simple fact. Last year was quite the interesting year, and it gave us an opportunity to try and give the community a chance to show what they'd been working on, show the passions, show their just wishes to kind of grow in the community. And so obviously it was such a spectacular event for all of us that we realized through not just our own feelings, but the things that people were saying, that we needed to do more, that we needed to repeat what we had done the first time around, but now we had time to make it better. So that's really where things started. Now, moving on from here, we've got a tremendous community that is already just exploding in size. The community, I can't believe how active everybody is. I mean, I'm not wrong, right, guys? It's insanity.
It's insane.
Like, it's so heartwarming for me to see people talking and communicating and helping one another. So if you guys are interested, please join the Discord, because I think that the more people we get in there, the better it's going to be. But moving on from that, the community has the potential to have substantial growth. It has the potential to share knowledge. It has the potential to really help people. And it just takes willing people involved. And so that's really, I think, the starting of our goals is, we're going to give you guys some absolute kick-ass opportunities, some kick-ass events, a chance to really show all of the incredible talent that you've got. But then we're going to do more with that, and we're going to build on top of that. So I'm super excited to see where things go, and I just hope that we get as many people on board as we can. So I don't know, what about you guys? I think I kind of gave like a basic primer there, but what are your guys' very specific goals? Do you have one in mind that's just like, this has to happen for me to feel like we have succeeded?
You want to go first, Dave?
Well, my goals are probably a little bit different because I'm kind of standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak, with you two. My goals are to kind of support more, to learn the community, support you guys, support this contest, and see where it goes. I think my personal goals are creative growth on my own part, which is something that has been kind of eluding me for some years after being a worker bee and doing all these other things, and to really tap back into that creative side of me and to learn from the community, learn from my brother, learn from Chad, and just kind of be immersed in that. And then, grow, expand from there. The goals of the actual championship, the contest, is to reach as many people as possible. I'm just such a believer in the community, how you bring people together, the uplifting message, the positivity, the inclusiveness. So to, expand the reach as far as possible, to make sure that everybody who wants to be a part of this, to be creative, to create anything, to be included, and to have a place to reach them would be my, the goal within that.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. What about you, Chris?
So, I mean, my goals started last year when we did our first show, which was give people an outlet to express what they can't, which was an opportunity to make something and share it, because the purpose of art is to share it with people and to evoke some kind of emotion. Right. Now, cosplay happens to be a very special culture to all of us, and we aim to give our community, this community, an outlet to express and share their work with the world. It started with our first show last year. We didn't want to do the show this year, you guys, but you guys just kept banging on the door saying, do another one. So here, we're doing it. But because we've gotten so much support from everyone, we wanted to make a company which could be an ongoing thing. So yes, we have this event. We've got our Discord server. We've got our crowdfunding campaign. We've got all these goals to get us to the point where we can continue to bring things to you after the contest. One of the things was this podcast, by the way. This podcast was something weekly that we could give to the community while you're working, to keep you inspired, to keep you excited. So you could meet a lot of the other judges and the owners, and this has been really fun. So we've got our podcast, we've got our show, we've got all this merch, we've got opportunities for people to support us, and then afterwards, we announced this last week. We can't say who yet, but we're allowed to say this. We were picked up by a publisher, and we'll be coming out with ultimate cosplay literature, of educational literature about different cosplay techniques. So we're really excited that we got signed by a publisher, which that's usually something that happens after something big, but that happened.
Or to other people in general.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But we've got this amazing crew of judges and committee members and community, and so we're going to be able to bring, the show and books, and then we're going to be planning on doing lots of booths, and we might be judging in-person events, or who knows? There's ultimately no limit to what we can do with this. And that's where the community comes in. The more people show us, we need something, some kind of organization to bring us all together, you know, you guys are the ones that are making that happen. So the more mugs and t-shirts you buy,
Yeah.
the more opportunities we have to, you know, bring everyone together and put on more shows and give more back to you guys.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? You mentioned mugs, and I think that's a pretty important segue that we should mention really quick is everybody, whoever wants to support Ultimate Cosplay, whoever wants to be a part of what we're doing, we have opened up our web store where you can get apparel, you can get shirts, backpacks, all sorts of different stuff that once the order's processed, it's made on demand, and then it's drop shipped straight to your house.
Yep.
The best part is all of it's set up right now. So if you want to have it before the contest, well, you can have it before the contest or every single week, whether we're doing a crafts like session on our Discord, by the way, which I really want to get started up on. And then, you know, do like morning coffee talk. And I want to have the same mug as all of you guys out there. You know what I mean? So I just, if you're interested, Chris, can you put a link of that in chat?
I already did.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
that's
actually both of your mugs are in the mail right now.
yes.
So, and there's someone in chat, Shadow Ninja, she got hers today.
Oh, nice.
So she's
No
very
way.
happy. And then there was
Right
someone
on.
in the UK, Feathered Phoenix got her poster of the thing that Spicy Tide
Oh,
designed.
nice.
Dude, that
Nice.
Spicy Tide
So
design was
people are
so
already
cool.
getting their swag and their loot, which is really cool, and it helps support us. So thank you guys so much. This is not a commercial, so we should get on to the actual show.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, so it's an AMA, of course. I asked a question. Maybe Chris, you and David get a question, and then we'll kind of answer some questions from chat. So one of you guys, let's hear it.
All right.
What do you got for me?
Let's see. So I gave my brother one question to prepare for, and I'm going to ask it right now, which was,
what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, what the are you actually doing? No, I wanted to give you an opportunity because my brother has been to the Renaissance Fair, a handful of conventions, and some other really fun events with me, but he's not a maker right now. Nope. And he was watching the podcast we did with Beverly Downen, and he called me right after, and he said, "I've never been so inspired to just go out, buy tools, buy equipment, and start making stuff." So I want to ask you, why do you want to be part of Ultimate Cosplay, and where do you see yourself growing? How do you see yourself growing into this? Whether you're a maker or not, or just a support role.
Yeah.
What is your vision of how your role is going to play over the next 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not a maker, and it's almost like because of Talk Custom, because of Chris, I've almost kind of like backed into this world, which can be a little bit strange, but as people who know me know about me, many things happen in my life kind of backwards, so it's perfectly fitting. Obviously, Chris has been an inspiration through Talk Custom, and the community is what I'm really passionate about. I was in the business community for years, and you kind of watch how that goes. The normal pattern of that seems to be non-inclusive, more exclusive, more pecking order, climbing a ladder, which is, there's certain rewards to that, but falling in love with the community is why I'm here. That's the passion that Chris is referring to comes from that, to watching Chris in the basement 6 years ago when we were living together in our grandmother's condo, and hearing the sewing machine going for 20 hours a day for a year, and however mind-numbing that might be, then to see the videos and the progress and the stop motions and the flags and then the pride. So it was always there, the appreciation, and going to the Ren fairs, and Chris would dress me up, and I mean, I've always felt comfortable there, but it was never part of my like original creation, my desire to go create. So where I see myself giving value is in a support role at first, but I can't really sit on the sidelines either. So we have a family home in Wisconsin. I'm looking forward to turning the garage into a workshop, kind of getting myself dirty a little bit. Maybe it starts with how to build a thing I can sit on and taking a funny video of it, and going from there. I've got a couple, kind of ideas, but I don't want to, pigeonhole myself right now. I want to immerse. I want to learn. I want to be inspired. And this kind of vehicle is just, it's taken over for me. It's the difference between the community I'm used to being involved with in the cosplay community is just, it's so stark. It's so beautiful what I see in this community. People talk about mental health. They talk about being ostracized, being uplifted. They talk about grinding it out for 2 years, feeling like, how could I ever get to the level of some of these amazing creators and influencers? And that to me is its inspiration. I've never personally felt like a very artistic person. I've got 2 brothers who are amazing musicians and drawers and painters, and now Chris obviously is a sewing master. And so it's always been, I was the other one doing other things I'm good at, but diminishing returns on the working for other people and climbing the ladder in the business world. Certainly it's been a wild ride, but I'm kind of still waiting for my creative inspiration. But for now, I'm inspired by the community and want to support it the best I can.
What a great answer.
Well, it's true.
No, like like for people watching this that are artists that are planning to enter this contest that we're running, for them to hear that one of the owners of this brand is inspired by them.
Yeah. No, I'm inspired by the person that's starting today.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
that's powerful. And
yeah,
like for any makers that are here that have less than a year or less than a month of experience, you have more experience than one of the owners of this company as a maker. Now, Dave is a brilliant businessman, and he was very instrumental with setting up the business. He's got a good mustache. He does
prerequisite for being a part of this.
Right. So
I have an eye patch or a good mustache.
Right.
or both.
Or both.
Right. So like you are a huge asset to us, and just seeing your ability to recognize everyone else's passion and everyone else's ability to motivate and inspire and support people is a big deal from kind of an outside perspective. But and I'll bring one other thing up. When we first started talking about bringing D-Tock or David or Dave or whatever you want to call him, the magician, into
the magician,
into the creative world, I think the first thing I said to you was, I need you to be the most authentic version of yourself. And
I remember that.
I don't remember it, or I don't know if you remember what your response was, but you told me, I've never been able to do that in a work environment before.
That's right.
And that's so sad. And I get that, because I worked in that world for
like 99% of people would know that feeling.
Right. So this is, I mean, for me, it's, it's an industry I work in, I live in, same with Hoku. We get to be the most authentic versions of ourselves every day.
Yeah.
Like we try, actually, for what it's worth, I would interject that I forget who said this to me. It might have been you, Chris, but it's 2 things really. We get to be the most authentic version of ourselves while trying to make sure that we're the best presentation of that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's trying to really dig deep and make sure that you're coming through genuinely, because I think you have far more impact on people when you're true, right? When you're honest, right? And
I hope so. Yeah.
But you try to be better than that. And I think that's what's kind of good about streaming in a way, is it helps you really recognize a lot about yourself, because you're constantly in front of a group that's going to call you out on your stupidity.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
It's great.
And it's interesting. It's funny how things come back to you in the moment. It was March of last year, Chris. I remember a phone call that we had. I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was, a week before COVID broke out all over the world. And we had about a 3-hour phone call, and I was talking to you. I was working this job for the startup company, and it was a good deal and all that. But I remember saying to you, we were talking about kind of how can we communicate? How can I have this thirst for wanting to maybe do creative writing or a creative outlet. And I remember sitting there in some dumpy hotel room, being inspired then, not knowing what was about to happen a week later to everybody.
Yep.
And then, you fast forward from that point to the championship last year in May that you guys put on, to, more COVID. I got laid off in there. And so it's just amazing how these things happen and the process of it all. But to in such a short amount of time, for it to go from that moment in March, being on the phone telling you that I was just thirsting for some kind of creative outlet, to not knowing that we would be at this moment a year later, almost to the day, is just it's just incredible. And I'm just grateful to in some way kind of dip my toe in the pool and help you guys out. So yeah, it's just wild.
Well, I've said this to both of you, but I wouldn't rather go into business with any other two people right now. And I'm so privileged that I get to continue my own brand and I get to keep working with TNT Cosplay Supply. I also have a lot of friends, that I get to help support their brands and their goals, and, Hoku being one of them, and obviously you and a lot of other good friends and artists. But I feel so lucky that we get to do this, and that I get to do this, and I get to do it with the people that I want. And yeah, but I've been buying my brother typewriters and fucking creative books, and having talks about starting a podcast with him for years. And now I finally got him on the hook,
Timing, brother, man. It's timing. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I guess I just had to wait for, the world to fall
apart. A worldwide crisis is usually what inspires me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when are we all going to have this forced additional time to think about, what is it that we want to keep doing? I mean, for what it's worth, a lot of terrible stuff has happened, but at the same time, it is in a way, it's an opportunity to change your life. If you want. If you don't want to go back to that same 9-to-5 job, now you've got time to figure out what it is might be able to keep you there. I say go for it. You know what I mean? You're never going to have more help from the government than over the next couple of years figuring out how to restart. So I don't know, food for thought.
Well, especially in this community too. It's what an opportunity. I mean, obviously it's not easy to start a business right now, whether it's this one, or I think about all of your followers who are trying to get in the game or gain viewership, subscriptions and all that. At the same time, I almost feel like the cosplay community is more in tune with digital media, technology. They almost have a leg up on what the new reality is going to be. So use those skills and start now.
That's actually a really interesting thing you said, though, because it's strange, because I think that the opportunities that we always were exposed to, or the things that we recognized, they've gone. A lot of it is gone, but there's so many new opportunities. It's never been a better time than to be online, because there's so many people watching, and there's another thing to really consider, though, is we have this perfect opportunity to expose ourselves socially and figure out how we're going to actually communicate. And if you can practice behind the shot of a camera, communicating with people, some of the people that struggle with communication in real life, it is a way to practice. So I strongly encourage everyone and anybody out there to try and work with what we've got right now, and maybe it'll actually benefit you in the long run after things return back to whatever that's going to be, But geez, what a strange, bizarre time it's been, isn't it?
Yeah, you said it well. It's an opportunity. It's heartbreaking on one end, and I mean,
Right.
and opportunity on the other. Unfortunately, you can't change the weather. you just gotta
Change the weather, right?
you just
Oh
gotta roll
man.
with it.
So was that a Dave question? Are we good? Dave, do you have a question for Chris or I, or
Oh
both?
yeah, I suppose if we're gonna like
Yeah, I
do
mean, I
some
guess
kind
I
of
hadn't
a
thought
thing
about.
where we take turns or whatever. Yeah.
I have I would probably direct my question to Hoku, just because we could easily turn this into Dave and Chris question hour, but we know each other pretty well.
We don't have to
we,
do that. Besides,
we don't have
this
to
is
do
Hoku's
that.
channel, you know.
No, for the next however many hours you guys put up with me, it is our channel.
Fair enough.
This is our home right now.
Our moist home.
We love our moist house together.
There's too much
Just a bunch
facial
of
hair
thirsty,
keeping
hairy
the
men.
moist.
Yeah, with lots.
All right, let's hear it, Dave.
No, so I would because I referred to kind of watching Chris go through his kind of self-tutorial process and self-taught sewing and kind of printing and video editing and all that stuff. And I have a sense of the timeline on that. I'm really interested, and I'll skip over the part, Chad, where it's like, what inspired you? I'm sure you've been asked that before, but I'm more interested in the specifics for you about, kind of that, what was the timing mechanism of that spark moment to where you, I don't know, completed your first cosplay or your first piece or your first prop or whatever it was.
Oh man.
I think one of the things that's really intimidating to me is like a newbie or an outsider is, like tool acquisition and timing and turnaround on the first thing. And I'm just interested, like what that timeline and process was like for you.
I've actually been thinking about it a lot recently. What really started me down this path? And my whole family really, we were very much into Halloween. We would decorate, we would do all the stuff. I was dressed up as a pumpkin for some years and a dragon other years. But what I realized is I remembered the first true prop I've ever made. Are you ready for this? And I don't think I've even told Sammy this. So
I don't know if I know it.
I didn't truly consider it at the time. So check this out.
Let's hear it.
The very first prop I made, I was cast as Ringo Starr in a 5th grade music play. And so the first prop I made is I was like, well, Ringo Starr plays the drums, right? And they didn't have drums for me or anything to bang on. So my buddy Miguel, my buddy Miguel gave me a pair of his dad's drumsticks. And then I took a bandstand and I duct taped a bunch of big tubs of I can't believe it's not butter to it.
Oh, nice.
Painted it all white and then wrapped it in tin foil. And I played it so hard during the play that the person, the teacher running it, was like, Chad, you need to stop hitting your drums.
It's a prop.
But that was the first prop I made. But I remember feeling so into it and excited. And my dad's a man of many crafts and trades.
Tell
but
your
for the
dad
longest, like I said, he's a man of many. But when I was growing up, I remember him being a carpenter. He did a bunch of really refinished woodworking and cabinetry and all that.
Nice.
And then he also was a painting contractor. So he painted the big murals and stuff on the side of schools.
Oh, nice.
And then he also, he did custom automotive cars, on classic cars and stuff. I don't know if anybody knows, but I've actually got a 55 Chevy pickup that I'm going to finish someday. It's candy orange. It's pretty. And then I screwed it up. But yeah, so I grew up around this incredible, eclectic, short Hawaiian man. And a lot of that, I think, creativity got, instilled in me. I was very, very lucky to have a pair of parents that, as long as what I wanted to do was positive in nature and constructive, they tried to support me. They did also try to support me probably too many times when I was being destructive, but I think I was really good at convincing them that it was a good thing, even though it wasn't. So that was probably my manipulations.
Manipulation, right?
Yeah, right. We all got it.
Mom, this is a great thing. If you buy me this,
Yeah.
I'm not going to burn the kitchen down. Oopsie.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, actually, I think both of my parents really helped me become who I am. Big gamer growing up. It was how I socialize. Like, I've been doing this far before, even the last 10 years. I did online high school because I was bored as all crap in normal high school. And I learned communication over the internet from a pretty young age. So it's something that I think I recognized how amazing communication was at a young age. But then I recognized how amazing it was when you could do entertainment with it, like video games. So I wanted to go to school for video games. I learned 3D modeling, realized I was going to make a living because I'm not a good enough artist. True story. I will never be a good artist because I'm more like a creative engineer, right?
An engineer. I was just thinking that. Yeah, it's interesting.
But that's how my brain works. Is I love the construction, but I also love the deconstruction. But it's because I want to know how I can construct something from what I learn. So that's probably the biggest motivating factor for me is how do things work? I love to get my hands just so deep in how things work and then deconstruct it so I can try and make it a little bit better and a little bit more efficient and a little bit funner and more exciting and positive. And
I really like how you're saying that, because it's easy to say like, oh, this was my first project, but it's more interesting to me to understand like what is the personality seed that was in you that like inspired you, that got you to the table. So that's, I appreciate you going.
I went back and got my degree in business, but the thing that actually attracted me, and I think you will understand why, is I got incredibly interested in economics, right? Yeah. And that's the thing is economics and psychology, for example, to me, totally fits the exact same position or feeling as like taking a piece of machinery apart and learning how it works. It's just the human psyche. I love to understand the rational and irrational thinking that takes place that helps really motivate and drive people, because then you can figure out how that leads to growth and prospering as well as failure. You have to really be willing to. Actually, Chris, you told me earlier that your brother's favorite quote's like a Hemingway quote, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep.
I'm gonna botch it, but it's something. It has to do with writing, and wanting to write and not writing. And his quote was along the lines of,
"Is it write hard and clear about what hurts?"
No.
Okay,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
it goes something along the lines of, "You've written before, and you will write again. Just write the truest thing that you know."
Oh yeah,
kind of a getting back to basics, like.
That's kind of a like. That could be applicable as far as any artist or costumer or cosplayer, prop maker, whatever is. You've made a prop before, you'll make another one again. Just do it better than you've ever done it before, type of thing.
Absolutely.
It's economics. It's learning from your successes.
That's right.
And seeing what sort of rational thinking went into like, how am I going to expend these resources, right? Whether that's time or energy or money. And then like when you fail, it's pain, right? When you don't succeed, it's pain. And so it's like the best thing you can do is really, in many ways, embrace your pain so you can learn from it and then avoid it. And the best part about doing that, though, especially when you're part of a community, is you help other people not have to experience that same pain, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I think is, and some people are afraid to fail, or they don't want to share that failure, or they don't want to try so that they don't fail.
Yep.
But the really fascinating thing about this particular community to me is it's almost, there's such a cushion around the community as far as support goes, where people can get competitive about anything, and there's always a pecking order and who's good at this and that. But in reality, and I whether it's the Discord server or just being at cons or being at a Ren fair, it's the most, I don't know, just like beautifully cushioned environment. There's so much support. And I'm sure there's dickheads everywhere, but I see just a ton of support, and I've never seen that in any other business or any other world. So I mean, there's a lot of like little catchphrases that you can use or Hemingway quotes, but it's never been truer than this particular
Arts Plunge in chat actually just gave us, I think, your quote, which is, "You have always written before and you will write now.
And
All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know."
Yeah.
So finally, I would write one true sentence and then go from there.
Yeah.
Like that's a really cool, like, embrace it, push forth, and then you don't, you're not going to be in an unknown area, at least in that regard. Like, that's so awesome. You know what I was going to say as well, though? You know what's so cool about Ren fairs? It's basically like the mystery and magic and just like harshness of the past
Right.
with modern technology,
Right,
including toilets.
Yeah, with privies and yeah,
and the body wenches and the those the mead.
Body wenchos and turkey legs, but
it probably just smells way better.
And that was, again, this is one of the coolest things about Chris is when he started getting in the game and actually making full costumes. We would go to the Ren Fair. That was the Milwaukee Ren Fair, which is one of the great ones from what I'm told.
I will go someday.
We will go.
Oh my God. And being an outsider and bringing some of my friends along, and Chris would have 12 full, floppy hats and, the Renaissance era. I don't even know what kingdom we were in. But that's like, I just think back to those moments. I mean, Chris, what was that, year one, probably?
That was yeah, it was the first summer after I started sewing. I went to Anime Milwaukee, my first con, which was in February in Milwaukee, which is cold as shit.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't want to stop. I didn't have any reason to keep sewing. I had a full-time job. I was working in mental health, but I didn't want to stop. So I started making clothes and like Renaissance costumes and goofy golf pants and hats and just...
Well, you always used to say, like, in the beginning, it was kind of a comedy thing for you. You, like, as a joke, you had been talking about
I started sewing as a joke.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. With Corey, and then it was like a T-shirt, and then it was anime, and it's just interesting how hearing Chad talk about his and you're in, like, there's so many avenues into this world.
Oh yeah,
it's basically fall ass backwards out of a tree.
They're all pitfalls. You don't know that you're there until you're like, oh my God, I'm impaled on. That's amazing. So, we've got a bunch of questions, and I think that we should get to some of them for now before they get bored and want to leave. So first and foremost, Skylar Summercrest 23 is asking for all of us if we can post a video about how to submit for the contest. It'll be better for the visual person. And I think that's something we can totally do.
I think we were planning
probably on that. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit. Actually, no. The sooner we do it, the better. Yeah. So maybe give us a couple of weeks, and we'll try and get something up that's super clear and cut and kind of to the point.
So submissions open on April 1st. So you will have. We'll make sure we get you something 2 weeks prior to that to make sure that everyone is equipped with the same knowledge, so that you feel comfortable and confident with what you need to prepare for, and you'll have until the last second of the end of April to submit. So we can do that. Last year, Hoku did a whole video on how to submit for TwitchCon's online thing. So it'll be similar to that, but just more focused towards
I'll put that in chat right now, actually.
Good call. Excellent question. And we want to make this as kind of effortless for everyone else as possible. So we're happy to do the extra work so that you guys can just focus on making amazing stuff for these incredible panel of judges to review.
And then we had another question from Plexi Cosplay, and she says that she is late to the party, but is David actually a magician?
Depends on. No. The short answer, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. I have Chris and I have
heard this story earlier.
Appear in Siegfried and Roy related
Yep.
things and do a lot of hand wand waving. And,
Oh my goodness.
but
I love it.
You know what I should have said was, yes, I'm actually a prop comedy magician, because we all know how much people like I'm like the
Yeah.
Carrot Top of cosplay.
Blueberry
but
head.
No, I had to be
Oh,
something
goodness.
though, and you can thank your lovely Hoku Props host for that. So
Yeah, he needed a call sign, and it couldn't be something from Top Gun. Viper was taken,
Yeah.
and Maverick.
Jester.
Yeah, so
Iceman.
Iceman.
Oh goodness.
But
I know a couple little tricks. I can do the old rub the quarter into my arm and plant a quarter on the other side of the road and throw. I'm a magician for 8-year-olds. That's about it.
I mean, a magician for 8-year-old, as long as you are blowing somebody's mind, you are
Yeah.
totally set.
Yep.
All right. Next question on the list is
Oh
from
my God, Job from Arrested Development. I can't get that out of my head. Arrested Development is one of our
Oh.
favorite shows of all time.
Do you like magic? No. I love
I
it.
love it. Yeah. Was it the Queen of Diamonds? Yeah.
Chris, did you ever tell Dave about Steven of Solo Roboto being dressed up as, oh my gosh, he was
Hades?
completely
Hades?
No, he was completely painted in blue. Oh, what's the dude? What's the like nerdy brother-in-law or whatever, bald head?
Oh,
At one point he's like,
Tobias.
she blew. Yeah, Tobias. So he
Oh.
dressed up as a like a mashup. I think it was Game of Thrones to no, it was Spartan Tobias, I think.
Yeah.
It's like 300 and Tobias when he
Wow.
was all like in blue. Oh, it was great.
Tobias
Oh
Stevens.
no, yeah.
This is a Dragon Con.
That's so
was great.
funny. God,
I just blew myself.
Yep.
Exactly.
I can't wait to get Dave to Dragon Con.
I don't know if Dave will survive Dragon Con.
Oh, Dave
I mean,
can
he's
party.
a talk, so
All
All right,
right.
I made it this long. I don't
Dave-
think anything could
Dave
kill
knows
me.
how to party. So yeah. All right. So
all right. I'm actually excited for this one because I'm curious what you guys are gonna say.
Oh.
It's kind of like, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, you guys keep fielding questions because Sammy is recording all of them. And
Oh yeah.
and Hoku's gonna read them off. So if you guys have
Yeah,
questions for any
Sammy's
of us,
putting them in a document, and
Yep.
I'm reading them as we're on here. So
Yeah, I
we're
can't
not gonna.
read and talk and look at Chris's beard at the same time, let alone.
I mean,
follow
you get
along.
lost in
So-
it.
Can't
It's like
do
an
all those
art
things?
piece. We should. There's this like. Never mind. I'm not gonna start it. I'll say it later. No, screw it. I'm gonna say no. There's this like thing called non-fungible tokens right now. We could tokenize a representation of your beard and probably make millions off of it. We should try it. All right, moving on. Song of the Sumra asked, what would you all consider your first fandom? I'm talking going back to like toddler years.
Oh,
And there's a
mine's
second
easy.
part of the question, but
Mine-
I'll ask it
yeah.
after you guys finish.
Mine's easy. Ninja Turtles was my favorite anything ever
Yeah.
growing up. Yeah, for sure. That was my first like full fandom. Period.
What about you, Dave?
Costumes, action figures, posters, every movie, every VHS. That's it.
I can vouch for that.
Yep.
I'll give you guys one hint what my first fandom was. Ghostbusters.
Is that a portrait of your dad?
This is a portrait. Yeah, it's actually my
We should've put the picture of-
grandfather. He was a Carpathian warlord in
Yep.
Yeah.
16th, 7th century.
Yep.
Yeah, my first big one was Ghostbusters. So hence the I just
that's-
got this for my birthday. A full
Yeah.
7-foot rendition of Vigo, the Carpathian warlord.
Yep. Dave was I think when you were 3, you had a Superman pajama.
Yeah, Superman's in there. Yep.
There was a
Superman
Superman,
for
and I
sure.
had a Batman one. It had like
Yep.
a cape with Velcro type of thing. So Superman and Ghostbusters for you, and Batman and Ninja Turtles for me. Hoku, what about you?
I totally had the turtle van.
Oh yeah.
Remember the turtle van?
I had
How
the,
hard
I had
it
the
was
turtle
to
van. I had the sewer
like,
set.
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I still have all of my TMNT like
Mm.
VHS tapes in a box.
Yep.
Like I loved that game. Like I will say I grew up, the game I probably played the most growing up, ironically enough, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the Nintendo. We're talking
yeah.
the OG one,
Yeah.
which was
Secret of the Sewers?
That
impossibly
game is still
difficult.
impossible, even as an adult.
Yeah.
I actually beat it by installing an emulator with an infinite life hack, and I was finally able to beat it.
It's still
I was I totally cheated my way through that game.
Well, the arcade game too was like that. It was like at least $50 worth of quarters for.
It
that
was
was such a good
yeah,
game,
but the
though.
Nintendo game was impossible.
It was
It
ridiculous.
is known to
It
be
was,
like
I mean,
one of the most difficult games.
truthfully, that game is awful. Like,
What's the furthest level you made it back when you were
I'd
growing
always
up?
die in the dam when you have to swim through the
Like
electric,
the swimming one?
the electric seaweed would always get me.
I made it past that one
I think
time.
I did once.
One time, right? And then I had like no lives, and like I was like that,
Yep.
you know, it does like that siren when you're almost dead.
Okay, so two
To
Ninja
finish
Turtles.
really quick, check it out though. That's only like the first 30% of the game.
Yep. We're going,
All right,
this
but
is-
yeah,
this-
Teenage
we're-
Mutant
this
Ninja
is turning
Turtles.
into a whole stupid shoes rant right now. Which, by the
Oh,
way,
I'm
people
sorry.
were talking about earlier.
I'm
Stupid
not sorry.
shoes.
No,
This
don't
is
be
why
sorry.
I'm here.
And
All right, next question. And you guys have to answer the question because I won't know. Which Wisconsin cheese is the superior
Oh, just in
Well,
general.
in general?
I think we're probably known for like our aged cheddars. That's like I think you get like an 18-year aged cheddar. I don't know if you're talking about like brand or
Do you
like,
guys have a brand in like that you prefer?
I don't particularly. I'm a big pepper jack and mozzarella mix.
I'm
Is
a white cheese guy. I'm like a Swiss and Monterey.
Yeah.
and
I like my
mozzarella.
provolones. I like my whites. I don't really like extra sharp cheeses.
Yeah, that's what Wisconsin's known for.
So
Or
when
like
you buy
the,
cheese,
the squeaky cheese curds.
Yep.
Like I don't know if you've ever had we do cheese
The-
curds
the
and then you know how
raw
good and
squeaky
fresh they are
cheese
because they
curds is one
squeak
thing.
when you buy
I'm
them.
so impressed because you guys know so much about cheese.
Right.
Well, I mean,
If
I
I
would
could
say
only
probably
eat
we're
one cheese
two of
for
the
the rest
dumbest
of my life,
cheese
it would
guys in Wisconsin.
it would be pepper jack, and that's because of my grandmother, because she'd made this
Alright.
amazing pepper jack salsa and mozzarella dip when we were kids.
Are you guys a supporter of them making cheese yellow with dye?
No.
No,
I agree.
That's
Why?
the thing.
Why?
I got a buddy who's a cheesemaker and he makes like unpasteurized. There's a
are you talking
term
about
for it.
Jake?
Yeah, for Jake.
He was my guitarist in the band we were in. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so fun.
Is it his
Jake.
cheese business?
Yeah, he makes cheese amongst other
Yeah, he makes
things.
bread, cheese.
I wonder if
he makes his own
I wonder if he'll
sauerkraut,
sponsor us.
Um,
some Jake Gall sauerkraut, and
I can always
Heck
check.
yeah.
Yeah, he makes sauerkraut in his bathroom.
he does
There's a
make-
lot. There's a lot
What?
of
Yep,
characters up here.
sauerkraut. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Some
Moving
characters.
on. Electric
Wait,
Sea
Who
Foam.
asked
Wait,
that
what?
question?
It was the same person's Song of the Sumra. It started with like, what do you guys consider your first fandom? She's talking, or they're talking way back, and then also which Wisconsin cheese is superior.
Oh, that's
I don't know if that really is a question you guys can answer because it's a little vague.
it's just what's your favorite?
We
you
just
know?
talked about
Yeah.
cheese for 5 minutes, so I think we did pretty well on
Yep.
cheese.
Electric Seafoam asked, how does one judge an armor versus fabric piece? Is there anyone that seems more preferred?
Ooh,
Um,
that's a good
That's
question.
probably a question that I would be best suited to answer. So the way that we've got our panel of judges set up is we've got specialists for all the different categories. Most judges have experience that really spans the scope of the different processes, whether that's, sewing or armor making, special effects, so on and so forth, right? Now, by having like a nice distribution where we've got people that specialize it in though, or they're able to really help some of the other judges see certain weaknesses. But think about it this way. It's not necessarily a bad thing for some of the judges to not have the most experience because they're going to be viewing and observing in a fashion that's similar to what you guys see. So as long as we have people that cover those weaknesses and are able to help make sure that the scores are staying balanced and things are being evaluated equally, we should be totally good to go. But like I said, most of the judges have a fair amount of experience with all the kind of categories that are being discussed.
Yep. I as the
yeah.
host, I'm not a judge in this contest. I have judged before, but my answer to that would be there are proper methods of accomplishing certain goals, and there are there are kind of not necessarily correct methods in all things, but like sewing is such an old traditional craft. There is a right way to do things and there is a incorrect way to do things. And that's something very tangible that judges can see and tell with experience. When it comes to armor, that's different because there's so many new modern materials, techniques, people have made up their own formulas for different types of so it is quite different. But from a judging standpoint, you can tell when a seam matches up. You can tell when something is primed properly. You can tell when something is painted and weathered properly, just by looking at it. All you really have to do is, if you're into sewing and leatherworking, learn the basics, learn the fundamentals. It's been around for hundreds of years. There is a proper way to do it. If you're into armor making, it's a whole different game. But if it looks good on the outside and on the inside, you're in good shape.
Yep.
Chad, will you like feel armor like tangibly at like live shows? Will you actually put your hands on a piece?
Oh yeah. Well, we ask for permission. So imagine I'm judging you, for example, and you come in with your costume. If before I even approach you, I kind of say, hey, I'm gonna take a closer look if that's okay. You got to make sure that you're not making people even more uncomfortable.
Oh, for sure.
That's actually one of the things that makes it a little bit more difficult judging in person in some ways, though, is there is the person factor. It's not pre-recorded. Now, before I touch anything, I say, is it okay if I touch this? Is it okay if I, look under seams, so on and so forth? I know I personally tend to stay away from lifting any skirts or anything like that because I don't want there to be like misunderstandings. I let the gal judges typically handle that. So that's pretty much how it is for me is, I will definitely though, if they're okay with it, hold it, look at it, take my hand. And that's part of like armor working, for example, and sanding is when I sand, I'm using my eye less than I actually am feeling. I do a tremendous amount of feeling to find highs and lows. So that's a whole other conversation, of course, but yeah.
Something else that's worth mentioning, like excuse me, last year we had 2 different skill levels. There was intermediate and master class, and anyone could enter anything. This year we have categories, so all the needlework is going to be competing against needlework, all the armor is going to be competing against armor, etc. So because it is more challenging to, when 2 different disciplines are in the same category,
apples and oranges, that's got to be
it makes it really challenging. In fact, the judges last year, we've talked about this, they were not happy people. It was so difficult for the judges. It was excruciating. It was terrible. Excruciating was the word I was trying to say, but it was
excruciating because there was so much incredible things that we were looking at. And so it's like when I saw more costumes last year that should have won that contest than I did costumes that didn't. It's like the amount of quality submissions that we got was so substantial and so just intimidating as a judge. So I gotta say I'm actually really excited though, because to be put in that kind of position and have enough time to work through it with a little bit of time means that the quality overall and the end results just have a far higher potential to be truly genuine, truly accurate, and just really, we can nail it. So there's somebody in chat I want to ask a question to since it's relevant to this. And if and when you have time and if you're comfortable answering it, Cullen's Workshop, you competed in TwitchCon and I was actually one of your judges.
I took the picture that he submitted to
did you?
It was at DragonCon and
that's amazing.
His post-apocalyptic Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It was awesome.
So for what it's worth, I would say I have actually judged in the past in person a few people that are in this community and also are in the Discord. So maybe a suggestion for you guys would be to, ask Cullen some questions. He's got experience. I'd encourage you to ask other people who have, gone into judging with any of the judges here, because they might give you some insight. But what I was going to ask you as well, Colin, is just, was there any one or two specific things in my interaction with you during the judging process that you liked or disliked? Because it's good information for me to have, but it's also something that we might be able to incorporate into the contest. So
Right.
hopefully also you are competing this year, because you make really cool work.
Yeah, he does.
I have more questions
go
if
ahead.
we want to
we
move
could
on.
talk about the judging process for a long time.
And I think we should at some point too.
And we will. Maybe this isn't the best podcast for that because
No.
Unless people have questions.
Not with me.
All right. So
I was
Rumple,
gonna say
well,
it,
I once again, I disagree, because you're going to have a far more accurate representation of what some of the individuals of the audience might not know. Because if you're inexperienced with contests, I can't stress this enough, any experience level, whether that's super experienced or completely inexperienced, value, in what your knowledge is, right? All right. So next question. Rumpelstiltskin asked, what style of video is preferred for judging? For example, static camera that you walk in front of, or something shot more like a CMV with cuts and close-ups. And are work in progress books allowed, or will we be required to submit more of a video diary of our progress? So maybe I'll handle the first part of that question, and Chris, you handle the second part. So as far as what style of video is preferred for judging, if I was competing, I would go watch last year's contest, and I would actually
literally playing above David's head right now. That's the finalist role from last year. That's what people
maybe I'll put a link to the contest down below if we don't have it handy. But watch that contest and watch for some of the judges' reactions. Try to see when people on the judging panel, I would try and see when they were smiling, when they were really enthusiastic, when they might be a little bit more reserved, and then study what other people were doing. That might give you insight into some of the different elements that they use that really were conveyed well. And then also some of the things that might not have clicked so well. If there's something that somebody's doing in a video and it makes you uncomfortable, good chance it's going to make us feel a little uncomfortable, right? And then at the same time, both the good and the bad. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Also, here is a link that this was going to be for the TwitchCon costume contest, which I got right here. I'm putting a link in chat right now for you if you're still in here.
I think Sammy.
That is.
Oh yeah, both of those.
Well, so the first one from Sammy is last year's contest. The one that I just posted is my costume contest 101 contest video submission. Now, this is one that I put together with Twitch, so just keep in mind this is intended for TwitchCon. But I think that a lot of the elements in there are some of the things that I thought would pay off best. Do keep in mind, I used the video that I had from the video and footage I had from back during that time. I didn't record anything new. So some of the things I probably would have wanted to elaborate on a little bit more, but I'm a very long-winded individual, as you can tell. And I'm going to shut up now. So if you've got questions outside of that, you can ask them more. But Chris, if you can
at least you're self-aware. That's more than most people can say.
Okay. So the format, we need a minimum of 1 full minute and 4 high definition photographs. Your video has to be widescreen format or it will not be accepted. We prefer MP4 because it compresses well. I love your chapstick, Hoku.
Sammy's tastes like.
I forgot to order cookies and now it's too late, by the way. Damn it. Anyway.
Oh no.
But we would prefer that you send up to about 2 minutes. You can go over and we will trim it down for, like, if people that are selected as finalists, we will trim it down to every finalist got 1 minute of stage time. You can do a full build book. If you want to make a PDF that's 80 pages long, do it. But we are projecting, last year we got 300 submissions.
And we only had a month to really organize.
Well, we only had 4 days to actually go through them once submissions closed.
Right.
So
I just mean notice ahead of time.
Yeah, but
it's like, surprise, there's a contest, submit now or you're not going to get in.
Yeah, typically we'll see your pictures first. Then we will dive into all the video footage. Presentation is 25% of your scoring. So like as you see Smelms running around the street, and he literally jumped into a swimming pool.
These videos are great.
He jumped into a swimming pool.
What are the
wearing that
neighbors thinking?
suit of
Like,
armor. Like, that's a big deal. Like, you don't have to jump into a pool, obviously, but you know, it doesn't have to be a static camera. You know, move around, run around. Yeah, here's him jumping into a swimming pool.
This is great.
But
full head first.
full head first, and he floats because it's all.
Dude,
foam.
he went for it.
It was all TNT.
He
foam,
went for it.
But, yeah. So just think about it like we were talking about earlier. Like, if you had one opportunity to show, you know, our panel of judges what you've made. How do you want them to see it? You know, think about it. Like how would you want to receive content, and have some fun. If you're proud of something, show it off. And we want to see close-ups in a build book if you can. It's not required, but the more you send us, the more the judges will be able to deliberate if it comes down to nitpicky details.
Right.
Did I answer that sufficiently?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
that was great. That was super good.
What's our next question?
Alrighty. So the next question we have is from Weird Sister Creative. I've never really competed before. Will there be templates available for build books and video submission? I think we've covered that. If you've got questions that we didn't cover in the last couple of questions, Weird Sister, please repost them below and we'll get to them again.
You know what? I've
Next
got
question.
an old build book from my last build I could put up as an example, or I could ask a couple of my friends, like, hey, send me one of your build books and we'll put it up as an example type of thing.
Yeah, definitely check out the YouTube video I posted about my TwitchCon like mock-up submission, because it is put together very much in like a chronological build.
Right.
Start A, start B, start C. Here's my thoughts. You know, one thing that I know I personally as a judge would like to hear is some of the motivations. Oh,
I'm sorry. I forgot it. Hotkeys. Yep.
No worries. I know I personally really like to hear some of the motivations for the decision-making process. You know, if you catch my rant at the start of this podcast, you'll hear I love to know the inner workings of people's choices. And so a lot of that can help me understand like your motivations for doing certain things. And then like, you really want to emphasize what you're building, right? And so if I know that you were thinking like, I want to make sure the costume can move like this, and you execute that, it's super valuable to me. I love seeing people set goals for themselves and then meeting or exceeding those. And it also really does help the person who's competing feel like super passionate about it, because it's like, this is a success of mine. This is something I really want to make sure you see. Like, I'm going to make sure I see that. So make sure that you bring forth all of the things that you truly are excited about, truly motivated, truly just feel success about. And a lot of the times you can convey that and reach us judges far better than if you're like, I really wish I would have finished this thing that Hoku would have never seen if I hadn't pointed it out.
Don't point it out. Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe some judges would disagree with me, but I don't want to know where you feel like you failed.
Yeah.
I want to know everything that is a success. Hopefully I don't find the fails.
Yeah, there was something else. I just did the math. Say we got 400 submissions, which is possible, and everyone submitted a 5-minute long video, which I think your demo is 5 minutes. That would be 33 hours of video footage for every judge to watch. So I really want to cap it at like 2 minutes max. Another thing is, you can do voiceovers explaining things about your costume. You can put music in if you want, but all of the audio will be stripped out
for the live broadcast.
So if you want to do kind of a build book video, you can do that, and we will hear what you're saying, but then we'll rip the audio out for the sake of the broadcast. So you can kind of mash them together if you want.
All right. I think this next question is a reference to a certain rant that I'm known for. Dave, what is your opinion on shoes, emojis of different shoes?
What is my opinion on emojis of different shoes?
No, not on the emojis themselves.
You know what? I just want to see where he goes with this. Just what is your opinion on shoes, period? Go.
Well, starting with the Assyrian culture and my opinion on shoes are buy ones that are good that last a long time. That's about what I got.
That could have.
Heck yeah.
Don't cheap
I
out
think-
on shoes.
You just summed up a 8-minute rampage Hoku went on last week in like 8 words.
Wait.
Oh, my
On the
goodness.
spicy tie, he went on that rant again? Because I thought I've heard that one before.
No, that one was a Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. Yeah.
All right.
right.
Next question. Super short. Wonder CE asks, "What's your favorite bird?"
Wow.
That's it.
What's my
Favorite bird.
Favorite bird.
Belted kinged fisher.
Wow.
I gotta go with peacocks. I love peacocks.
Yeah, you do like peacocks.
You know,
I can
they're
vouch for that.
they're fucking crazy.
Dude, you are a peacock is your spirit animal, isn't
Yeah.
it?
You know, and actually, it's funny that just came to me because people.
Although it's more
have-
like a turtle with a peacock tail.
People have told me that I peacock as a verb. Well, not like that, but no, they say like, you know, your fashion, your clothes, your pants, your like your pins, your bag, everything you make is such.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of your personality. So,
I think the word you're looking for is loud.
as long as you don't say obnoxious, that's fine.
I'm gonna cheat. My favorite bird is a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, nice.
Oh, if you watch Jurassic Park carefully,
Yeah, if you watch Jurassic Park,
you know,
as the pelicans are flying. You know.
Does it have to fly? Okay, a pterodactyl.
That's-
Yeah, we'll give it. Judges say.
bonk because it was a reptile. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they may have evolved.
No.
How about what is the favorite bird you've ever seen?
Chickens, birds, all of that. They're related to raptors, aren't they?
Just say Velociraptor and we'll move on.
Yeah,
Velociraptor.
just such a so Hoku.
I'm not a bird guy, actually.
He
I
likes
think
the
they're
cheap shoe
cute.
bird.
I think they're cute, but I grew up. We had birds in my family. We had a
Oh, I'm sorry.
big old macaw named Taco, and
Oh.
it just screamed taco, 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 taco. And then we also had another one named Burrito. We had 3 birds that were all like different Mexican dishes.
You know,
So
I have to say if my parents are still watching, thank you so much for not making us grow up with birds.
No, we just had a dog that shit everywhere.
Yeah, like
but,
having a
he
dog
didn't
that
fly,
shits all
so-
everywhere that's fine, but like birds are so fucking loud and they just whatever. Anyway, thank you. Because yeah. Anyway,
Would you like to know more about
Word
birds?
Sister doesn't accept. She's like, they are like, I think you can say bird are dinosaurs, but not vice versa. I mean, they're related species technically. They just evolved. So on like a rudimentary level, I mean, it's kind of a bird. Okay, how about a dinosaur that? Okay, fine. I'll pick a penguin. Penguins are cute
I
AF.
was almost gonna say penguin, but peacocks, you know.
All right, moving on. Next question.
Yep.
Testing Limits asks, I'm curious if, since the logo to Ultimate Cosplay is a crown, if there might be a crown as a prize.
We talked about that.
So Testing Limits, the original trophy actually had a big crown as a component of it. I know we were under a super tight time crunch last year's contest. We're still catching up in a way. But I'm going to be building the trophy this year to help offset some of that work from Frostbite. He's too busy fighting the pandemic and keeping people alive, which is valuable. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see that there's a crown element on that trophy. So
this
we're going to
is
do
the
a.
trophy.
It's a pretty legit question, I gotta say. I mean, that's a pretty legit trophy, but
Yeah,
something
we,
about crowning the winner. Yeah.
we're going to be doing kind of a refined, polished version of that. So I modeled it last year live on Twitch. I really want to get back to streaming again. So look forward to that if you guys kind of want to see the process. But I think that the crown is forever and always going to be a major component that we want to use to really prop up. You know, the crown to me, everything's a story, right? The crown is the anchor to everything we do. It's the representation of where everything's going to kind of revolve around, it being a contest, right?
Yep.
So there's definitely going to be a crown element there. I just don't know if it'll be like an individual crown that you can.
We also
Leave
talked
it-
about the fact that C2E2 is, you know, the international crown. Like that
Oh,
is
sure.
the top trophy reward
Mm.
for C2E2's International, which is a very, recognized international competition. They actually have a crown. It's badass. We don't want to.
Yeah, Solar Roboto makes them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
That
And he gets them chromed and everything.
Yep. And those
somebody was putting crowns on in Discord today too, and I see Feathered Phoenix is referencing something about that. I don't know if it's the same thing, but somebody had posted in one of the channels wearing a crown that looked very, very similar to our logo. I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know.
I mean, for what it's worth, I got to say,
Brownie points.
if our depending on how our crowdfunding campaign goes, it might actually be a possibility to do some chromed elements on it or some gold plated elements on it, which would be cool. It's very expensive, and I think that it's a paint job can really look beautiful. So I want to make sure that any of the money that we have that's left over are things that we use for building better contests in the future, or helping pay judges more. So you know what, I retract that statement. Absolutely no chrome plating. Unless for some reason I'm stupid rich, I will pay for it.
and there's nothing to say that, this year we probably won't do it, but there's nothing to say that hopefully in the future, like for next year's show, we could do a trophy and a crown, because why the
That's
hell
why I was
not,
just wait till next year, and then the next year, and then 10 years it's going to be a real.
They get like a WWF belt, and then they get just
it'll be like the Queen of England with sapphires in 10 years.
Scepters.
I have a collaborative project scheduled sometime this year to make somebody like a super cool WWE style belt, but it's like super nerdy and Viking themed.
Nice.
Gonna be great.
I like it.
All right. So next question.
These are good questions.
Colin's Workshop is asking, does leather count as needlework? You want me to take this one?
I say absolutely.
It's
Traditionally,
a substrate. It's a cloth substrate in some way, right? So
I would completely agree with you there. I think that
couldn't it be armor too?
I think that's the caveat.
Oh, that's the question. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
That's the question.
So I think
which category
that
does it belong in?
Gotcha.
Right. I think that it's incredibly important for me to say this, and that is that so much of the category that you're entering is actually up to you. Okay. If you want to enter, so for those that are a bit new in here and maybe haven't seen the categories, there's 3 main categories. The first one is seamstress or needlework.
Don't say seamstress
or seamster.
because...
Sorry, needlework. Anything that's sewn in element, the process of it is relating to sewing. That is something that you are probably going to fit in.
Yeah, sewing and
next one though is armor. Okay. Now, if you are 50-50 sewing, 50-50 armor, right? Or half armor, half sewing. Once again, it's like, well, where do you fit? If you've got like substantial sewing elements underneath that, apply for the arm or apply into needlework, and just make sure you recognize that the armor is something that will be accentuating the sewing work, but your main criteria now is sewing, and vice versa. The same with armor work. You really want to have a healthy balance depending on the costume that you're building. If you make armor, make sure that you don't have big holes in the armor that's just unaddressed, right? Hopefully that kind of covers that topic, except for the final category, of course, being out of this world, which Sammy came up with, by the way. I love the name.
About this, by the way.
And out of this world is basically if you think that you don't fit exclusively into needlework or armor. That is if you are something that is just maybe out of the box, or you feel like you want to compete in more of a mixed media application. It means that all of the costume will be evaluated really on a whole scale, head to toe. Not that the other costumes aren't going to be, kind of analyzed in the same process, but this is something where you're not focused on one very specific element. It's going to be very easy to judge, I think, if a costume doesn't belong in needlework, and it will probably cost some people.
Yeah.
The same with armor work. Like definitely think hard and long about where you want to be positioned, because I mean, pretty earlier on we'll be flexible if there was a mistake, but I think that when it's clear that, and when it's clear that you have entered into that category on purpose, then that's where you're going to be. We don't really plan on moving people unless it's like
I think I
super
remember
obvious.
seeing Plexi asked if someone enters a category and the judges think they belong somewhere else, will they be moved? Which is a question that will probably come up later, but we'll go into that now. We will
Yeah,
not,
we can cover it now.
We will not be moving anyone in their categories. If you submit, you are locked into that. So if you want to go for Out of This World, that's what you're sticking with. If you have a primarily sewn or needlework, that's what you're sticking with. Leather can absolutely be both.
Yep.
Whatever you're comfortable with. If you believe that your leather armor fits in better with armor, do it. But it absolutely applies to needlework as well. It could also fit in to Out of This World if you add effects and smoke and lights and pearlescent paint, or whatever you do.
That's actually a question I had for Sammy is what was her inspiration for that category? Because I think it's brilliant. Was there any one particular entry from last year or something she had seen in years past? Or
do you want to answer in chat?
I mean, there's got to be a bunch of them, but
like, there's a couple answers to the question.
She said she'll answer you in chat, which will be fun.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that covers it. If you guys want to see a good case example, a couple of years back, my friend Anthony, he was competing in TwitchCon in 2017, and he made Kratos. And
nice.
They actually the administrators moved him from armor to needlework. And while he technically qualified to be placed there, he personally, I believe, felt that he belonged in armor because, obviously it was tanned veg, it was thick, it was a really, really thick mill. It was something that was not this, supple, flexible pair of pants or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's something that you kind of have to choose for yourself. Just make sure that you're sure before you submit, because as Chris said, we really don't intend on moving people almost for any reason.
Right.
I guess, is that safe to say?
And it kind of goes like, this is, I'm not trying to like freak anyone out, but the level of competition in this particular event is quite high. A lot of the people that are competing in this event are experienced competitive cosplayers. So those people are very familiar with this kind of process. Again, we understand there's a lot of people that are new to competitive cosplay, and we want to be as transparent and welcoming and give you all the information that you need. But just, this is kind of a self-confidence thing. This is like, you need to know what you're making, and you need to know where it belongs. You need to know how to express that to the judges through photographs, videos, build book, text, whatever. So, just kind of puff up your chest and say, I'm doing this. I'm going to build this. This is where it's going to go, and this is what I'm sticking with.
I was just going to say that confidence, sell it. Yeah. Like if you're hoping that somebody moves it so that you have an advantage, that's probably not.
Yeah. So we've got some silly questions.
Ooh, good.
So I figure maybe we can just burn through these really quick. Skylar Summercrest 23 is asking, what are our favorite Pokemon?
Oh, Jigglypuff.
I gotta go. Jigglypuff. I'm gonna have to go probably Snorlax, just because it's the dumbest thing ever. And because playing Smash Brothers, old school N64 Snorlax, and it would just come and crush everything. That was just hilarious.
I absolutely loved Charmander. He's my absolute favorite. He was my first Pokemon in Pokemon Red, and I have great sadness, but admiration for Charizard, because I feel like Charmander is the closest to a human for me, because he starts off innocent and happy, and then he becomes like a rebellious, angsty teenager, and then he becomes a grumpy old Charizard. I'm like, that's just like the human evolution. So that's my favorite, is Charmander.
I always pick Bulbasaur when I was picking a new character in a game. Someone asked a question. I'm going to answer this real quick. Electric Seafoam said, one question, sorry if you answered it. Is there any chance to submit the costume late? I'm a college student and I would really need another week. No, you will not be able to.
Sorry.
1 week after submissions close, we will probably already have deliberated and probably already have our finalists selected, because there's such a short period of time between submission close and the actual show. We have to move very fast.
Yep.
So the answer, I'm sorry,
plus aligning schedules.
Yeah, and we gave you guys, you know, you might not have known, so this isn't your fault, but we did announce this on New Year's. We try to give people 5 months, which is pretty good. We're pretty proud of that. So I'm sorry if you don't make it in, but please submit whatever you've finished, and you will be in the show. Every submission will be shown throughout the show, whether you're a finalist or not.
And the other thing is, if you're in the Discord, there is a group of a lot of people talking about their builds. And the fact is, if you're worried about time, luckily enough, there's still enough time to be kind of strategic about the process. And so really consider the overall necessities on that costume for it to be something that you could be proud of. Because oftentimes a lot of people don't realize this, but like, here's an example. If you finish your costume, right? Can I go on a rant? A good one, short, to the point.
Sure.
I think it's gonna happen
Weapons,
no matter what we
weapons and accessories and costumes, right? So if a big mistake I see a lot of people make when they're getting ready for a contest is they build the weapon first. Now, building weapons, I think, Chris, you'll agree with me, it's super exciting and super fun. I love making weapons.
I always start with my weapon first. And
awesome.
Yep.
So here's the thing is, if you might not enjoy the process as much at the start, but the weapon creation process is incredibly exciting, and it's also completely unnecessary, because if you show up with a full finished suit of armor and no weapon, I can judge your costume, no problem, and you won't even lose points for not having the weapon. If you put a lot of effort in the weapon, you show up and you're missing bracers, you know, greaves, or whatever sewing element is required, you are not going to have a finished costume. A weapon isn't going to win the contest for you if the rest of the costume's unfinished. So you need to look at your priorities and make sure you finish the needs over the wants.
Okay,
you know,
that's a good answer.
Well, and to Chad brought up a good thing with Discord too, is use it to your advantage with the tips and techniques. You could really go to people and say, "Hey, I really need to save a week on this. Well, what do you have? Give me a
what do you guys
shortcut,
think
give me
isn't
some help," and you
necessary?
might be able to get something.
Yep.
I would encourage people to share some of their submission videos before they submit and maybe get some feedback.
That's a good idea.
Maybe we can
good call.
we can make a channel that says tear my submission to shreds so I can make it better.
Critique. We can absolutely do that. We want this to be a really like different experience for everyone. Like when you compete at a live con, it is not the same. And some of you guys know that and some of you guys don't, but what we do,
that would actually be I think that would be the channel that you make sure the judges role cannot view, is the critique on the actual like previews.
I think, and I can set that up so that the judges cannot see certain channels on Discord. So if that happens, I will make sure that happens.
Yeah. Electric Seafoam's got another question for us as well. Hey, for what it's worth, Electric Seafoam, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other people that might have the exact same question. So feel free to ask as many of the questions as you want, and we'll answer as many as we can. So Electric Seafoam asks, armor versus sewing, is there one that's particularly preferred? There's always so much armor winning. The whole reason behind having such a large, diverse group of judges is to make sure that we have as many people rooting for as many different categories and it being balanced. We've got a lot of really experienced judges, which, case in point, my track record, both Twitchcons that I've been a part of, for example, one of them, Casey Renee Cosplay, won in her sewing or her needlework submission. And then I know in 2017, the winner of that year's second place was Hikikomori with, an equally incredible costume. So I would say that I think that we are definitely really trying to give as fair of an opportunity to all categories as possible. And luckily enough, like we've got the judges to back that up. So yeah.
What would you guys say the breakdown is? Let's say if the 300 submissions come in, pick a random number. What do you think the ratio is to armor versus sewing needlework?
You know what?
That's a really
I want to
good
say,
question.
I want to say last year was actually super diverse.
It
There
really
were there was sewing, there was armor, there was special effects, there was a combination of all like
body.
So it's not like it's
basically.
85% armor that's coming in
we
or anything.
had
Yeah.
a significant amount of needlework and
Nice.
and if you look at last year's winners, you'll see that really the spread of winners really spanned the whole scope of different elements. It wasn't about like Samui-san, for example. He wasn't really armor, he was everything.
Yeah.
Like most of the winners last year, they might have had like one element that was a little bit more prominent or kind of categorizable, but it was super diverse, man. So
Yep.
I would once again watch last year's contest and do some research. I think that's going to be probably one of the smartest things that people can do is just go watch last year's contest a couple of times and take some notes.
Yep. I've been a finalist in masterclass contests in needlework and in special effects, and I felt like I had a legitimate chance of winning my category both those years because there were authentic judges. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Is an event run properly? Does it have good representation? And
Right.
we have too much good representation in this particular event. So there may be times when, yes, all judges are equal, but there may be times where certain people that have expertise in needlework focus more on those, and vice versa, whatever. But
well, what else I would say is we live in a day and age when confirmation bias is really, really prominent. And it's sad to say, and this is something we're trying to change in our community, is more often than not, a lot of the more vocal people that you hear, they tend to be the ones that are upset about something. It's a very strong motivator. And so luckily enough, I don't think we got much, if at all, of this last year. But when you hear somebody complaining, oh, only armor always wins, oh, only sewing wins, from my experience judging contests, I would say it's actually quite balanced. Now, maybe that's because I'm there.
Examples right here. 3 years ago it was this, now it's that.
Exactly.
I'll give you one example of last year. A complaint that we actually got last year was
sure.
And I'm so happy to say this out loud because I'm not ashamed of it at all. But there was a few people in chat that said, and there were some like tweets and other things saying, why are 5 of the 6 winners females? And the answer is easy, because 5 of those 6,
because they were the best.
Because they were the best costumes.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like gender, race, like none of that has anything to do with judging authentic craftsmanship costumes. So if it's all
men
women
got the
this year,
first 5,000 years, and women get 1, and everybody flips their shit.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So like the fact that was even brought into question was hilarious, and like I didn't have to hide behind anything. I just said because they had the best costumes. Period.
Yep. We had judges that were capable of picking costumes based off of quality over bias.
Right.
And that's something to, I'm so proud of, and I'm going to continue to strive to make sure that we are fitting in that place of truly evaluating costumes for their quality, and not for our own personal feelings and opinions.
Yep.
Let's see. Do we have another question? I think we've got some more silly questions too.
Good,
which
we need more.
I'm so excited.
What's your favorite kind of duck?
What is your favorite kind of duck? A mallard.
I think
Plexi
everybody would
Cosplay
say
asks,
mallard.
is
What's another kind of
cereal?
duck?
Oh, wait, check
Wood?
it out.
Loon?
Is cereal a soup?
Wow.
No, absolutely.
No.
Soup has to be hot. Period. That's it.
What about that
so
Vichyssoise
disagree.
soup from Batman? That was cold.
I mean,
This is-
one of my favorite soups in the world. It's called Don Chimikuksu. Hopefully, I pronounced that properly.
Right.
Of course.
And it's a Korean cold noodle and it's got like a slight sweetness to it. The secret is actually it's flat Sprite. That's what gives it the sweetness. But just saying,
This
absolutely not necessary for it to be cold.
Yeah.
But cereal is absolutely not a soup; it's a dessert.
this question is offensive. Can we move
Oh,
on?
Chris
Well,
rant.
Someone
Chris-
pointed out
Flexi-
I'm
Flexi
offended.
Don't
got
even start
another
with
trigger.
soup
Like,
in this guy.
yes, move on.
Guy's been
Flexi's got
bitching
a-
about soup for 30 years.
Flexi's got another question for you. Next question is, how many chickens would it take to kill a T-Rex?
See, I would say one.
We'd have to drown, right? Drown in chickens. So that's at least 20,000.
Oh, that's our lucky number. What are the odds of that? Dave and I we have the same lucky number, which is 20,000.
20,000.
Oh, look, Evil Ted Smith is here. He's one of our fellow.
Hey, what's up,
judges.
Evil Ted
What's up,
Smith?
Evil Ted? Welcome.
Oh, Ted, this is my brother David.
Yeah, I was remarking before. Evil Ted's been on the podcast. Papa Bear, you got
Yep.
Spicy Ty last week, and then
Oh,
there's
geez.
me sitting here like
Yeah. No.
All right.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, 20,000 chickens. That's the answer.
that's the answer.
Okay.
I'm gonna say one chicken that's incredibly brilliant.
Ooh,
Yeah. I was gonna say like an uncooked chicken is salmonella, but
Yeah.
90% of reptiles have salmonella in
Yeah.
their digestive tract as well.
Yep.
So that wouldn't do
Yep.
the trick.
Yeah, but like Chicken Little, like that guy could totally take on a
It
T-Rex.
was made out of clay.
Valholic asks, I know you said something about sound being muted for the stream. I am wondering if you would unmade part of a video, let's say if person built a cosplay with soundboard or sound effects.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
as long as there's not anything in the background playing, make sure that you are giving us something where the audio sounds fantastic.
Right. We can't do any copyrighted music, obviously. We're going to be
Right.
editing stuff. So if you're speaking and we chop
Maybe
up
have
your
them
video,
submit. Maybe actually have them submit the sound bite that they use, and we can put like a not like crappy
or
microphone
submit
picked up one.
2 videos, one with audio, one without, or
Oh, yeah, that
just
works too.
isolate the audio. Whatever. Do whatever you got to do.
Sure.
And make a note of it so we can account for that. So absolutely. Like.
Well, I think like a fun example was last year, Goldar. Did we strip his audio or did we hear him going?
No, we stripped his audio because we stripped everyone's audio. But
Yeah.
but the reason for that is because at every other in-person convention or contest, you just hear the MC or the host talking the whole time. This contest, you actually get to hear live judges' commentary about every costume.
Right.
So we don't want music and voiceovers blotting that out. We want the competitors, the audience to hear the judges' real-time commentary on everything. So that's why we do that. If you have sound effects, I can say, judges, be quiet, because you're going to hear, the sound of a T-Rex choking on chickens right now.
Right.
In this next video or something.
All right. So that right now is the end of our current list of questions.
wow.
If you guys have more questions, please put them down in the chat. Actually, I just saw one fly by really quick. Where did that go? Yeah, somebody is totally like enjoying your opposition to soup and cereal and all that, and I think they're
This is gonna
enjoying.
split off into a big thing. I can just feel
I
it.
mean, it could, but maybe not. Okay, Talk Custom by Weird Sister. What is your position on porridge vis-a-vis the cereal soup debate?
See, it's just shitty oatmeal that was,
Overcooked.
it was really just a
Isn't it
ploy
just the
to get
same
people-
thing as
No,
oatmeal?
that's the manipulative tactic they used in the whole Goldilocks story, because everyone knows what oatmeal is, but if they said oatmeal, people wouldn't have cared. Because they used the word porridge, it was just strategy to get
The
people.
Quaker Oats people got to them,
Yeah.
and
No, that's a bullshit question, because no one would have cared about those 3 bears if it
I
didn't
love
have
when these
anything
guys
to do
get
with
mad.
porridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you could call that hot cereal, but you don't call it cereal. You call it hot cereal. It's like grits.
Or you call it dessert.
Or
It's really what it is.
dessert, yeah.
Anything with that much sugar is dessert. All right. So we are in actually we just got testing limits. Says, okay, this question is for chat. Shag, marry, kill these three gentle. What? I know Sammy's answer. Right?
Oh wow! Actually, I don't know if I want to know her answer because you guys are engaged, but yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, so
I'll take the bullet.
You'll take the bullet.
Yeah, I'll take the bullet just to
That's funny.
make it easier.
For those of you that do not know, I am engaged to Sammy. So if her choice is anything other than marrying me, I am screwed.
Or what about the shag though?
So I've got so I've actually got like a funny thing that we were talking about Chris and his pants, and I had asked if he has made his family some. And Dave, I want to get your opinion on this. So we actually asked Chris, who's going to be like one of my groomsmen whenever the wedding happens, if he would make pants for all of the groomsmen as well as me.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to have some obnoxiously loud pants.
He wouldn't let you in the wedding if you didn't have obnoxiously loud pants.
Matching vests to him too as well. See, and ties or bow tie, whatever you want. I got you covered.
Oh my god.
We can get some custom fabric printed with little ultimate cosplay crowns, just like
I want to weasel my way into this wedding somehow.
Dave,
you're welcome. Please join us. Come on,
I'll bartend.
Actually, and like just off topic.
Heck yeah.
My brother and Hoku did not know each other until shortly before we started this official company, and I can't say how happy.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Not
You've
like
told
this.
me so much about your brother, and and he said I've told
spoken to each other until like a couple of weeks before we started or got the business license, and I can't say how happy I am that you guys get along so well, that you have so much in common. I look up to both of you in so many ways.
Oh,
and it's just this is so much fun for me to be able to do this with you guys.
Well, eventually we're not going to need you anymore, Chris. So
that's a good point.
Well, no, we're always going to need him to make loud pants.
That's right.
I was told that a lot of the judges wouldn't be judges if I refuse to host this particular
Absolutely
show.
That's
not.
a huge compliment.
The year that you aren't the host is the year that I quit. Just saying.
Interesting.
Because it's not going to be the same. It's not gonna be the same. When you're gone, I'm gonna sail off into the wind with you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So just realize, guys, that if you want to keep this going, you got to keep Chris involved. So don't drive him nuts.
He loves it.
Keep me alive and then keep me involved.
Marry him, have sex with him, and don't kill him, and everything will be fine.
Yep.
Tee.
Murder, death, kill.
Sorry, shag. I didn't mean to get graphic.
We've got a question that just came in.
Oh, Skylar Summercrest. I would still have to say the rants I've heard to this point. Hoku Props has the recent rant crown, but Lifetime Achievement Award, I would say Todd Custom.
What was my biggest
and the way he shakes and his beard flies when he's ranting is pretty epic.
Yeah, but he has rants in both directions. It's like excited rant or unexcited rant. But then if you feed him cookies, it immediately deviates into an exciting rant.
Yeah, I don't rampage on a lot of things. The thing that we had a question the last couple of, it won't apply this particular week, but we did, what are your turn-ons and turn-offs for cosplay?
Oh yeah.
We had guests answer that, and
Papa Bear did that one, I know.
Yeah, but something I would go on a rampage on, like a legitimate, like the cereal thing, that was a fake fucking rant, okay? But is when people have an opportunity to do something amazing and they refuse to do it. That pisses me off so.
What's an example of that?
Much.
Hoku not making more.
Not specifically, but
it started when I was new in recovery.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, I celebrated 19 years sober in January, which is a ridiculous number for someone that's in their 30s, but
right.
When I was young in recovery, I saw so many people around me that needed what I was getting, what I was taking, what people were giving me for free, and they were refusing it. It was an absolute need people had to have to survive and to have a life worth living, and people would piss it away for no reason. That's something I will go on a fucking rampage about. That's a legit rant, and when it gets, God, when I got into cosplay, like as in industry, as a job, as a hobby, as whatever, like it's such a low risk or even no risk, high reward situation where like there is no risk or threat of failure. What's failure in cosplay? Worst case scenario is what? People don't see your costume. That's it, right? Best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting yourself out there. I get that, but yeah, to your point, nobody's going to come to your house and beat you with a bag of nickels.
Like and I'm not going to get into some gross details about some treatment centers I worked at, but like that's a real high risk, high reward situation where if you don't, anyway, whatever. That's
and I'll say my rant, and it's kind of to both of your points, is it's when people spend more time complaining or the negativity than it would take to solve the actual problem or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, if it's like a psychological mechanism. It's not my area, but when people use that energy to complain or to worry or to bring attention in a negative way than it would take to just strap on their boots and solve the freaking thing. So yeah,
I think, you know what though, I think a lot of people struggle having the self-esteem to feel like they can actually fix the problem, and that's actually, that kind of ties in with pretty much one of the most common recommendations I give for people is nothing is ever going to be perfect, but you can get a whole hell of a lot better if you just start with something that's imperfect than if you're ever just aiming for perfection. And so the best words of advice I can give for anybody is don't look at failure as if it's the end of the road. Instead, it's actually the start of the road, because now you know how to not fail in that same aspect, right? So just take the failures for what they are, which is experience, and become better. And then what you do is you put yourself in a position to be able to help people not repeat the exact same mistakes, including yourself, your family, your loved ones, and those that you meet, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's something that people, you gotta just go for it.
Right.
Nobody truly, it's pretty hard to find somebody that can be worse to you than yourself. So just realize that we are genuinely our own worst enemies. And if you take the time and the initiative to experience failure, you'll realize, well, this is what caused it. So how do I then try something new? One of my biggest pet peeve, I'm ranting already, aren't I?
He's ranting about ranting.
He's ranting about ranting. Yep.
I absolutely just want people to succeed. So that's where I'll end it. I'll stop the rant with words of wisdom.
It's actually
made, if I can just throw in a little nugget too.
This is made
behind the scenes look at Chris and Chad is their desire to see people succeed, whether it's in this contest or just bring new people into the community, is it's absolutely crazy the level to which, I know we talk about a competition here and we talk about the actual creative arts and all this stuff, but their desire to actually spread knowledge is like no two people I've ever met. So we talk about the company we've started and GoFundMe and merch and competition, but in reality, it's just about bringing eyes and ears together. And these two gentlemen right here are absolutely spectacular and passionate about it. And it's pretty inspiring from this end. So love you guys.
I know, love you too. And love both you guys. And it's interesting that we're at this topic because this is literally how this podcast started, was when David was introducing himself. He talked about the inspiration, the community support, the love that he's seen in our Discord server, in social media, in our contests, and my experience with what I've done, with what you've seen at cons and run fairs and stuff. And that's the full circle of what we're talking about. Is we're not all, some of us have more privilege than others. Some of us are more equipped to deal with certain social issues, or we have more self-confidence or whatever, but if you can get plugged into a positive community, anything can happen. Period. Anything can happen, and
it's happening. I'm watching
right,
it happen in this. You know,
and you're giving credit to Chad and I for being, you know, little lighthouses to guide people towards, you know, whatever harbor they're looking for. But
Oh yeah.
my first was, you know, Evil Ted and Bill Duran from Punished Props, who I'm so proud that they're judges in this contest now. And Bill was,
Agreed.
he judged me in my first ever contest where
He judged me when I won Lionheart.
I met Hoku for the first, you know, so like,
there's like a lineage of support.
Yeah, and you know, like it's just, it's ongoing, and it's still so new. Like cosplay, competitive cosplay, like the things that we're doing with this company, like no one has really done this. Like we're not a prop house. Like people have made prop houses. We're literally a company that's just, our product is
the community of people.
It is people
developing a cosplay community,
right?
And really and that's as a whole, whether you're in the Discord or you're signed up or not. It's like I said this to Sammy this morning when we were first like trying to get prepared, and it was like, I truly wish that I was so filthy rich that I could fund this whole thing.
You could just give it to the,
so I could just give as much as I possibly wanted to everybody. You know, it's something that, oh my gosh, like, can you imagine how fun it would be to just to have infinite resources and just create magic, you know? Oh my gosh, that would be cool.
Well, I got $10 in Powerball tonight that says your wish is my command.
I saw a question earlier that I'm not going to ask because I went on like a total rant with a call with Plexi Cosplay 2 days ago, and I was telling her about, she asked in chat for Hoku to talk about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Exactly. What I will say, no.
Hoku's
Seriously
doing something
though,
far more important than talking about Bitcoin and stocks. And
what I will say
if he can work as if he can shill for Bitcoin, he will.
Yep.
If you guys are interested in that kind of content or those kind of discussions, I'm going to be streaming in the mornings, talking about finances and my theories and all that. You know, it's, if you want to know about like Bitcoin and finances and random, you know, stuff about your business, like that's where it should happen.
Well, there's a place for that too, and I think that's really important to help
actually,
people.
We should create a channel.
Gap. But,
we should do it.
There's something that like going along with, okay, so we do have goals in Ultimate Cosplay to help teach people how to establish a brand, a logo, manage their finances, their taxes, like
for their
all of that kind of
license,
stuff. We do have actual plans of teaching people those skills if it's something you want to do as a part-time side gig or a full-time, you know, job, or if you want to open a prop house like Vulpin or, you know, whomever. But we want to have that kind of information available. Everything from just a hobbyist to an enthusiast to a full-blown career artist. So all of those things are on our radar. In fact, our radar has quite a lot of bleeps on it, or whatever you want to call it. But
blips.
The
bleeps, the creeps, and the staves.
Well, and for what it's worth, like, let's say somebody truly wanted to know how Vulpin started his prop house.
Right.
Well, he's going to be on the podcast in, you know, the course of the next like month and a half.
Yeah, right on.
So we're going to get to,
you know, one thing. Well, let me add this really quick. If you guys have specific questions for future podcasts, like from a specific individual or one of the judges, like, you guys, please, you know, we'll create a podcast question like channel. And then if you've got one for a specific person, we'll just add them to a list. And then when that person's on, we'll try and work through them, you know?
And then if you miss that broadcast, you
please
can watch
use
the
that
VOD.
though.
Yeah. No,
all right. We do have more questions if you guys want to knock some more out.
We've been on air for 2 hours, so let's cap it at 2 more questions, and then we'll
knock a couple.
Well, we've got 3 questions that I see left.
Okay,
so
let's hammer it, and then Cookie Town,
and a couple of them are fun.
Okay.
All right. So first question is by Cosplay. will the Ultimate Online Cosplay Championship 2022 be happening? Because if so, I'm going to start planning right now. I know for me, it's going to happen if it can. So that's what I would give you from me.
I'm just going to say start. Oh, we got some magician things going on over. Start building for your 2022 Ultimate Cosplay Championship entry now. We are going to end the show, not this podcast. We're going to end the actual contest this year by saying start building, because we're doing this again next year.
Mhm.
We're gonna aim for May every year.
And I think Chris brought up a great point that the world's going to open up and there's going to be live cosplays and competitions, and that's going to be wonderful. But because things are always going to be a little bit evolving, and you've got so much international appeal, and people can't just fly all over the world, there's always going to be a place for the online Ultimate.
Yeah. Plus, realistically, we offer something completely unique and different.
Yep.
So there's at least as of right now, to my knowledge, there's not another contest that has 18 of the most incredible builders I have ever met on the same floor. And it's actually more than 18. It's 18 groups or brands, right? Or individuals. So that's what I'd say. All right.
Actually, one other quick point is that
sure.
When life does return back to normal, all the cons that are doing all these virtual cons, those are going to go away. Like BlizzCon line isn't going to happen next year, and like TwitchCon, will eventually manifest back into being a live TwitchCon,
which is great.
Which, so anyway.
I'm going to just answer this one really quick. Make Them Awesome is asking regarding the videos, is there any limitation to the file size? Realistically, if you are submitting an MP4 and it's under 5 minutes long, I have no idea how you could make it so big that it's a problem. So probably not. You should be okay. No. Some people last year, like literally sent us a link to their Google Drive folder that had like things inside of it.
Oh yeah, there was some people that sent like 90 gigs worth of content.
Right.
And we can only get through as much as we can get through. Which
just make sure you highlight what it is you want us to see for sure.
But like when we render all the videos for the actual show, like we scale everything down to 720 and make it digestible so that we can have it playing during the show. So
right. So that was a quick and simple one.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm going to ask these out of order, but it's because I want to end on this final one. So Electric Seafoam asks, what is your number one tip for a beginner armor maker? Chris, what is your number one tip?
Watch videos of Hoku.
I don't have videos of armor making. Chris does.
For that. My tip would be I guess because there's two different methods you could go. The simpler one that you're probably asking about is how do you collect information and apply it to technique? And that is just look up artists that you admire and look up videos and or books. There's Foamsmith, Bill Duran and Punish Props books. There's Kamui Cosplay's books. Those are fantastic resources. There's lots of good videos. I personally do a lot of all of TNT Cosplay Supplies YouTube videos, but there's so many amazing artists to learn techniques from. And kind of a second answer to this, just briefly, is don't try to be anyone else. If you can make you can make a costume that someone else has done, that's fine, but do it your way. Do it the way you want to do it. Don't do it the way you think a judge wants to see it, or a way that Kamui would like it, or Yaya Han would like it. Make it your way with your personality. And if you're not having fun, it's going to turn out like shit. That's my dual answer to that question.
Mine's straight into the point. I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is they start a project without having familiarity with like a material. So like if you're going to start with foam, for example, just take a piece of foam and cut it the heck up a bunch of times and get accustomed to how it works, right? This kind of just feeling of manipulating it, whether that's using a Dremel or using a razor blade, whatever. The other one would be go find some patterns online. Evil Ted, Punished Props, both of them are fantastic resources. There's tremendous amount of resources. Chris probably got some suggestions as well that will have patterns available for you to practice on and learn how, once again, the material works. So you need to see how it folds, how it kind of manipulates, how it heat forms, do all those things. And then when you learn from those mistakes that you made during that experimentation. So I guess that's an experiment.
Okay.
Experiment the hell out of it.
Practice is what you're
And
saying.
do realize that some materials do not fit with certain people. Some people have a terrible time working with Warbler, for example. Like I don't do well with Warbler. It's a strange material to me and I don't enjoy it. But I think foam's pretty cool. I want to work with it more, but man, for me, it's like rigid plastics, composites, printing, like that's my jam. So you got to figure out what really works best for you. And then that's going to really, it's going to help you enjoy the process. A lot of cosplayers don't enjoy certain processes like sanding. And so, just accept that. Certain types of armor, you don't have to sand as much, right? If you hate sanding, don't do 3D printing. Put it that way.
Or sculpting. Yeah. Dave, do you have an answer for this?
No, I think you guys are the experts, and I defer to you.
I have one more thing to add, and this is something. The question was, what's a good piece of advice to give beginners? And this was actually a rampage that Evil Ted went on. Him and I were driving around Los Angeles one time, and when Ted goes on a rampage, he's great at ranting, and he was telling me this story about a bunch of people at a panel were asking him, "Hey Ted, how do I make this incredibly elaborate set, but I don't want to spend a lot of money?" And he was like, "Okay, what does not a lot of money mean?" And they were like, I want to spend no more than $60, but I want to make this, crazy, huge, elaborate thing. And Ted went off, and it was hilarious. And he said his metaphor was something like, he was like, "All right, look, I'm in Tijuana and I need to get to Seattle, but I've only got $40. How do I do it?" That was that.
No passport.
That was his metaphor, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Because if you want
stay in bounds,
if you want good results, you have to have the proper tools. You have to have the proper knowledge, like Hoku was talking about. Practice, do tests, try things, have the courage to adapt and try things. But,
do paint tests. Oh my God. Don't just start painting your armor.
Right.
Take some scrap material, paint that first, wait till it dries. Because a lot of people don't know this, but paint actually changes color when it's wet compared to when it's dry, right?
But
you gotta think about that.
There are certain things that you can't do without a bandsaw. Period. There are certain things you can't do without a belt sander.
Right.
If you can't afford that right now, that's okay. You can still accomplish a lot. But the people that do have access to like CNC milling machines or some of the biggest 3D printers or resin, that's an advantage that they've invested their time, their resources into that so that they can produce higher quality things. So
right.
If you want to produce high quality things, you need the proper equipment.
Small victories.
Yeah, I mean, it's and simple words. Working within your means is super important. And if you blow your budget on like one specific portion of a costume, it means everything else is going to be sacrificed. So maybe if you can start with a material that is a little bit less expensive, that's what's so nice about foam. Is it's very cost effective and it goes a long way.
Yep.
And it can be utilized and manipulated into all sorts of different foams. There's a bunch of materials like that whether it's Warbler or Wonderflex, so on and so forth, that just do a really good job at that. So
yep.
Yeah,
I think I want to take the Evil Ted challenge, and I think I I think I could get from Tijuana to Seattle on $40. That's kind of my thing.
See,
So
you're a charmer and you're a magician, which is how you can do it. You have that kind of.
I've got experience living in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the final question.
Okay.
There's two other in here, but it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. We're not going to ask about DC Comics, and we're not going to ask about cottage cheese in Wisconsin, and if it would be sharp. Actually, I'm curious. Would it be sharp? Is cottage cheese made?
Cheese is not sharp at all.
Thank you for answering that.
Okay,
so
I'll leave that one.
So Sammy said that we can skip this one if necessary, but it's super funny, so I think we should ask it. Talk. Cullen wants to know if you use dryer sheets to help control static in your hair.
No.
Okay.
What?
Good to know. I have no idea.
What I use when
I use dryer sheets for pretty much everything else, but that's the one.
The same thing everyone uses. Hairspray.
I don't.
Yeah, take your hat off.
How much static is in your life? Are you living in like an electric?
Oh man,
like a Tesla factory with those.
Right.
Wait.
All right. Well,
Jacob's ladder. Whatever.
I think Sammy, is that all the questions? Is this a good spot, or is there one more?
The one I'm
highlighting.
Oh my god. And I just found out about hairspray at BlizzCon because I was cosplaying as Lothar and I wanted to look just like him.
I don't see it.
So
you just found out about it, like in general?
Like I never used it before.
Heard of
actually,
it, though,
so here's the one I wanted to save for the end.
Okay.
And I really think this is a cool one, and it'll be a good question for us to end on.
I'm ready.
So Wonder CE wants to know, what part of a sewing project is your favorite, or what about on an armor build? So maybe both. What is your favorite part of sewing, Chris, on a project, and then what is your favorite part on an armor build?
My favorite part of a sewing project is honestly picking the fabrics, because I can see it. I know how it's going to look before I even start it, as soon as I see the fabric, period.
That's amazing.
It's so, because sewing was my first craft, my first love, I have the ability to do that. Whereas I can't do that with foam. I can't do that with armor, because I'm still learning foam and armor builds. But picking fabrics is my favorite part. With armor, my favorite part is when I build the basic framework and I can actually wear it, and I put my fittings on the shoulder seams and the side seams and the zips on the bracers, and I start putting my LED strips where they're going to go before I even wire it. When I can start to wear it before I even add details or paint, and I can articulate, and I know I can move, and I can, like, that's when I get excited about armor. That take a while to get to that point.
Oh yeah.
So those are my two answers.
Awesome.
What about you?
I love it. Okay,
was that just for me, or was that?
No, I think it's for everybody that wants to answer it. So what part of a sewing project is your favorite? It is going to the fashion district with Sammy and helping her choose the fabric as well. It's the only enjoyable part of sewing to me. I think it's black magic. Quite frankly, there is nothing more difficult to work with than fabric in my mind. Which, by the way, goes to show as an armor building how much I respect needlework. Just saying. What about an armor build? Guys, I love armor. Yeah. Guys, gals, everyone involved. I love armor. Armor's so much fun.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have two favorite parts. I'm sorry, I can't separate them. The design and planning stage for like the logistics of it. I want to have mobility that nobody would think was possible. So foam is really versatile, because even if you make like a tube armor, which you can still move around in it. It's kind of weird and funky, but you can move. It's flexible. 3D printing and most of the armor that I make, there is not any give at all in the actual like rigid plastic element, right? So I have to design in all of these different fulcrum points in the armor so it can pivot and twist and rotate. There's a lot of leather elements involved. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love to tell a story. So for me, the costume starts from the inside outwards. I build leather rigs, then I think about the fabric that is period accurate, and then fast forward, to the end. I also really love the creation process, especially when I get to Twitch create or stream it on like Twitch or YouTube, right? Because it gives me an opportunity to hang out with you guys and answer questions. Painting for me should be the absolute funnest part with projects. But the problem is most of my work has such a short deadline. I have to fit in personal projects on time that I'm not working, right? So because of my projects always have this really short deadline, I have to rush the painting project typically. It's something I want to be better about because I derive the most enjoyment out of the painting process because it's really when you finalize telling that story, right? So like weathering and going through and thinking about how material is going to interact with its environment and the people wearing it and where it's going to rub, where it's going to break, that kind of stuff to me is fascinating, right? So I would say the painting process is definitely my favorite. Yeah.
Everything I've learned about painting, depth, and texturing has come from you specifically, and the techniques came from Core Geek, Bill Duran, Evil Ted, and Brittany Ganoza.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
4
man.
or 5
Don't
of
even
you
get me
could
started
write.
on Ganoza.
Oh my
Holy
god,
moly!
like you got and Dave, like I know you're at the kind of the introductory, like soaking all this in right now, and for
This is
everyone
just
watching this, I really
free
hope
genius right now.
I hope a year from now people can see
Dave's
D Tock
progression.
cosplaying as
Heck yeah.
as I've and I want to see what you end up doing, whether it's just supporting this community and this culture, or if
That's
you
gonna be a little more than that. I think I got it. You got to dip your more than your toe in.
Yeah,
So
but
I got the best motivation I could ask for. So
oh man, and this
All right.
helps me a lot.
So are you guys all feeling inspired? I know I am.
I certainly am. This has been a
I'm
blast.
so pumped to just like change the world, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
is there
good.
anything coming up in the near future for you guys that you want the world to know about? You guys have any plans? You gonna stream soon? You gonna talk soon? We got a podcast next Saturday, 4 o'clock.
Who's on next Saturday?
Next Saturday we have Tiffany Gordon of Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, who is a phenomenal builder. She streams very often on Twitch. She competed last year in this contest and at Twitchcon.
Yeah.
And we had her on as a support administrative role for this show this year. And I was like, why is she not a judge? So I was just like, okay, she's a judge. I mean, she's that good.
She's more than qualified.
And not only is
Absolutely
she
incredible.
but she is brilliant.
Yeah.
This woman is so smart. Like, she's like me. Like I play the fool, to put everyone at ease so that I can pounce, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it gives me the advantage. She's like that, but she's even smarter than I am.
That's awesome.
So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm excited to just now that we've made some of the announcements about, well, as the actual championship gets closer and closer, to just kind of build that momentum. And what excites me is seeing the Discord community grow and kind of see the momentum pick up, and just, it's like, and we have so many things in store too, that it's like we haven't even gotten to the real build up in the competition, and to be in the middle of it ish this year. My entire focus is just on kind of riding that wave and continuing the inspiration and learning from everybody and soaking it all in. I mean, I just feel like somebody gave me free front row tickets to like the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, all these metaphors. It's just like incredible. So yeah, I'm just a sponge right now. And one thing I am looking forward to on the actual construction side is I got a buddy of mine coming over, Jay Mikey, and he's going to help me retrofit the garage into a shop so that I can take that first step of, buying the whatever the tool is, or I'm I'm going to experiment with foam a little bit. I've got access to leather. I just want to put my hands on things and have a dedicated space. And I know it might be the babyest step of all, but that's what I got to do. So yeah, that's.
I love how excited you are to take baby steps, though. It's like,
Well,
it doesn't matter if it's an
what
inch
you
or a
keep
mile
telling
to
me.
you. You're just like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Chris, I cut you off. I didn't actually let you answer my question. I'm so sorry.
Well,
It was, do you have anything that you're like planning on doing in the next, little while that you want people to know about?
my whole life right now is really devoted to this community. Through Ultimate Cosplay, through TNT Cosplay Supply, through my sewing tutorials on my YouTube channel. I want to inspire, teach, connect. Like that's my full-time job. And
Yeah.
And I have one request.
Sure.
From everyone watching this, whether you're watching this live or not. Do me a favor and I want everyone here to welcome David Tock into our community right now. Say something, welcome him. Some words of wisdom, whether you like him, whether you think he's, a total asshole, just introduce yourself. I love my brother. He's my best friend. And I wouldn't be where I am in my creative world without your support. And you definitely deserve a lot of credit for what I've achieved. So I want everyone here to show some love to him because he's earned it.
Oh man, I'm so glad my tear duct is permanently stuck open on this side because all the crying goes over there. Otherwise, I would be a wreck right now.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna outdo that. No, I've just thank you. It means a ton to me, Chris. You're incredible and you're an inspiration to me. You're my big brother as much as I'm yours. So can't wait for the next things. But
heck yeah. Well, thank you too for both being on here. That was awesome. I am absolutely excited to kind of like announce that I have finished the last NDA project that I've been stuck on, and I can become a part of the world again and build and craft and share. I am so absolutely determined to stream some of the content I'm working on. I've got a big project I've been working on for the last year for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm building a suit of Lich King Arthas armor, and I want you all to be there with me and join me along that process as we celebrate like creating Arthas for this incredible kid that survived hell, who's actually he's an adult now. So, but still, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I'm going to be streaming in the mornings. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow morning. I promise, swear, cross my heart, hope to die. If I'm not, Samuel kick me in the head a couple of times and get me going. So I'll also ask you both to keep inspiring me the way that you do. It's been a tremendous amount of enjoyment for me to have these chances to just talk to you guys and have these opportunities. So, when you guys, whenever you guys need me, just you let me know because I'm here for you. And the same I'll say to the chat.
That goes three ways, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think I speak for us all when I say like we are here for you guys so much, and it's something that reciprocity really is such a fantastic thing in communities that have it. And so make sure that you take advantage of the community being there for you, so when the community needs you, you can be there for them. So with that being said, I think this is a great time to close it off. Once again, catch me tomorrow, let's say at 8 a.m. Pacific time if you want to watch me work in ZBrush. I love you all. And with that, check out ultimatecosplay.com if you have more questions. We'll see you next Saturday. Take care, everybody.
Blast. Thanks, guys. Love you all.
Bye-bye, folks.